Welcome to Quilter's Architect. My name is Mark. Well, you spent hours, days, weeks, or months making your beautiful quilt. Now you're ready to send the quilt top to the Longarmer. Would you like to learn at least 10 different ways to improve the outcome and show your appreciation and courtesy to your Longarmer? Then join me for this brief video. I'll try to cover each of these tips fairly quickly, and hopefully these will lead to much more beautiful finishes for your quilts. Before we send our quilt to the Longarmer, we want to make sure that we've pressed our seams. Notice in these two examples, I have a 4-patch. Here, the seams are being pressed to one side, or could be pressed to one side, but it wasn't done. So no pressing has been done. You can see how these seams stand up. So it's not going to lay flat, right? Same with this 4-patch. We could press these open fairly easily, but no pressing has been done. So if you're looking at them from this angle, you can see how these seams are going to be sticking up, and the quilt top is not going to lay as flat when the quilt top, batting, and backing are all combined together in the long arm. So this is very important. And so now let's take a look at some quilting where the seams have been pressed. Here you can see all the seams have been pressed open. It lays nice and flat, and if you look at it from the side, you can see that the seams have been pressed. And since these are pressed open, they lay very nice and flat. So very courteous to your Longarmer to press all your seams. And the other thing is, you know that this is going to lay nice and flat when they're doing the long arming, and you're going to have a much more pleasing outcome as far as the appearance of the quilt. Another thing we can do to dramatically improve the outcome of the quilt going to the Longarmer and them going ahead and quilting it for us is to check all of our seams. Are all of our seams nice and closed? We don't have open seams, right? Because look at this example. So here I have a seam that's open. Maybe we ran out of thread. The thread broke on our sewing machine. We restarted and we didn't notice that we didn't start at the right spot, right? Or for whatever reason, could be a variety of reasons, we have an open seam. Well, when this goes through the long arm, is this going to do well when the quilting is being done to it? Possibly not. If this spreads apart later, then our quilt's not going to look good right there, right? It's going to need a repair. So this is definitely an important topic. Check all our seams. This should be done as we're doing the piecing on the quilt. Really, as we make each unit or block, we just double check our seams. You know, we can check our seams, just make sure that all our seams are complete and we don't have any open seams. This is going to lead to a much better result when the Longarmer does the quilting on our quilt top. When thinking about preparing our quilt for the Longarmer, another thing is, what about all these threads? This is so common, right? We're joining all these pieces together and we have all these threads that are sticking out, and maybe they're on the back. They could be tails, like where we finished our seam. They could be thread that's on the edge of the fabric. If it's a light thread, we might, kind of tend to think, well, that light thread, that's not going to cause any issue. But what if we had a dark thread, like the edge of a piece of fabric, like this darker fabric, had lots of threads hanging off the edge? And then when we put our quilt together on the long arm machine, if we used a lighter backing, those threads could cause a shadow. So this is another thing. We'd want to go through and clean up all these loose threads that we have on the back. And this way we avoid any issues with appearance with our quilt. We want to have a very nice finished product. And so this is a minor thing we can do. It's a little tedious, right, to go through and clean up all these threads. But that way we know that we're not going to have something as simple as a thread on the back of our quilt causing the backing to not look right or to have a shadow behind it. And then the other thing is, look at the front and notice that as you're looking at your seams, another common thing is there's a thread sticking through the front. And so we have a thread on the front of our quilt and it's sticking through a seam. And if we don't remove those threads, those also, as they're doing the quilting, the Longarm machine is making that pattern on our quilt, right? Well, imagine there's a thread sticking out of one of these seams or a big thread laying across here and they don't notice it. And the quilting sews it in. As it does the quilt design, that thread gets sewn in, and now we have something else to deal with. As an example, I'll show you one here. You can see that I have this thread. It's in the seam, right? So I could have left that in there, and there's another one in the seam. And if we have to cut one of those, we don't want to cut our fabric right. Maybe it won't pull out. Well, if the thread won't pull out, then you may have your own method that you use to do this. But one of the things you definitely don't want to do is cut your fabric on your quilt. So if we turn the fabric the right way, we can cut it very close, because sometimes they're like attached to the edge of the fabric behind and it won't really pull through. And if you pull very hard, it may cinch up your seam. So this is just another minor detail about cleaning up our quilt before we send it to the Longarmer. We're doing our piecework, and there's something we need to pin together to line the fabric up and to keep that alignment while we make the seam. So something we want to think about with the Longarmer is we don't want to leave pins in our quilt, right? Because if you think about it, if you don't know a pin's in there, like see this pin, you can kind of see it on the edge. If you turn it right, you can see the pin is shining in the light. And if you look at the back, you might end up seeing that pin. But what if they don't see the pin? And they're grabbing the quilt and they're getting ready to load the quilt on the long arm, and what happens? That pin goes into their finger because of the way they happen to grab it. This is something we definitely don't want to do to our long arm professional. They already have hard work to do. We don't want them getting injured because we accidentally left pins in our quilt. And then the other thing is, think about the long arm machine. It's going across our quilt and it's doing the quilting and making that beautiful pattern, and then the needle hits this pin. Well, hopefully it won't break the needle, but it could damage or break the needle, right? And then that's adding more cost and time to the effort of our long arm professional. So that's something we want to pay attention to. Just make sure we don't leave any pins anywhere in our quilt, and our Longarmer will appreciate it. When we send our quilt to the Longarmer, one of the things that it may be obvious to us, but what is the top and the bottom of the quilt? It depends on what the fabric is like, right? The orientation of fabrics and the pattern of the quilt. But if it's not obvious, shouldn't we let the Longarmer know where the top is instead of making them guess? This is a very simple thing we can do that makes it easier for them, because when they load the quilt onto the Longarm machine, they want the top of the quilt to be the very first part of the quilt where they start doing the quilting. And so knowing the orientation is very important for them. We could do something as simple as this. Notice that all I did is I attached a label to the top of the quilt. It says top. It's that easy. If you're concerned that you don't have a label that will stay stuck to the quilt, then what you could do is use a safety pin. So again, we're not going to use one of these pins, right? Because if we use a pin like this, they can also get injured on that. But if we use a safety pin, which has where the pin clips inside that little metal case at the top, we could pin it with a safety pin, and they'll know for sure where the top is. They'll see the safety pin, they'll remove it because they're going to see that label anyways, and that way they know how to properly orient the quilt when they load it into the Longarm machine. Another consideration is the squareness of our quilt. I don't necessarily mean that it's square shaped, because it could be a rectangle, right? But something we want to avoid is that our quilt is shaped like a parallelogram or a trapezoid. What does that mean? You can see from these examples of a trapezoid and a parallelogram that things are off kilter. Somehow we didn't make our blocks the same size, our pieces the same size, or our seams didn't end up being consistently a 1/4 inch. Something went wrong. When we look at our quilt, if we take our quilt and we fold it in quarters, so we fold it in half, and then we turn it, and we fold it again in half. Now the seams here make this a little challenge because it's a little small block, right? But what we're looking for is that As we look at these outside edges after we've folded it in quarters, we wouldn't expect that any one of these 4 layers would be out of alignment very much with the other 3 layers, right? So that would be telling. If we folded this up and one of these layers was sticking out to here or over here or going on an angle real bad, then that would tell us that something about our piecing, our sewing, or our cutting was off. And so this is a way to check it before we send it to the Longarmer, just to make sure that they're not going to receive a non-square or trapezoid or parallelogram shaped quilt. And you might wonder, why is this important? Well, one of the reasons it's important is when the quilt is loaded on the Longarm machine, they're going to orient the top to the Longarm machine so that that's where they first start doing the quilting. This is an important detail because they're going to set up the Longarm machine, the programming of the actual space that the Longarm is going to work in according to the width and height of the overall quilt. And then they also have an area they're setting that they work in each time they make a pass before they advance the quilt on the Longarm. And if the quilt is misshapen, imagine if it's on an angle, as the quilt advances, then that spacing that they assigned, that width and height, it could get off kilter and the quilting pattern may not cover the entire quilt. Or if they do detect that our quilt is misshapen, and let's say it's distorted or it's wider at the bottom or wider at the top, they're going to have to set a much larger area of quilting in the configuration to make sure that as they quilt and advance through the entire quilt, all of the quilt is covered by the quilting pattern. So this is something we can do to be kind to the Longarmer, to not waste longarming resources where they have to do more longarming than is necessary if we make sure that our quilt is nice and square. If we don't pay attention to the detail about the squareness of our quilt and the consistency of our seams and our cutting, and we end up with a distorted or misshapen quilt, then the result may be that the Longarmer might be able to get the entire quilt covered with the quilting, but they can't change the shape of our quilt, right? They can't correct a misshapen quilt or one that's not square. And so that's something that we want to remember. If we send them a quilt that is shaped on a distorted angle or wider at the bottom or wider at the top, that's what we're going to get back, right? They can do the quilting. They might be able to work through the issues it causes them and the extra effort and work, but we're going to end up still with a quilt that is not square, and it's going to have an obvious issue when people look at it and they'll see the distortion in the shape of the quilt. One important step is our 1/4 inch seam allowance. This contributes to a more uniformly shaped and spacing on our quilt with the piecing. And so one thing we can do is we can look at our throat plate, and depending on how your machine is constructed, oftentimes the cover of the bobbin casing will also have these markings on it. So we can use these markings to determine where is the place where we need to align the edge of the right hand side of our fabric to get a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Some people will use seam tape, and they'll use that seam tape as a guide. Other people will use that throat plate, and some people even take extra tape and they'll apply several layers of tape to create like a ledge, a small ledge, and they run their fabric against that ledge. The idea behind this is if we can make sure our seams are consistent, this also contributes to our overall quilt staying square. If our seams are varying, then we can see how it can easily get off kilter, because imagine that one seam is a 1/4 inch, another is 3/16, and another is 5/16 or 3/8. If we vary those seam allowances that we're using, then this could easily throw off the squareness of our quilt overall, because those things accumulate. Those little small increments of errors can accumulate as our quilt has many pieces across the width or across the height. Normally when we send our quilt to the Longarmer, we're supplying the backing also, right? And so one other thing we want to think about is the sizing of our backing fabric. Based upon the size of our quilt, have we allowed enough extra fabric on each side of the quilt and at the top and bottom? As the quilting is being done, the Longarmer will attach some clips or clamps to the side, and this keeps the quilt, the backing and the batting all kind of together taut. It's not stretching it, but it keeps it taut. And that way, as the Longarm machine is moving across and doing the quilting pattern, this fabric doesn't dip down too much, and it keeps kind of a level surface for the Longarm machine to do the quilting. So we might want to think about including at least 4 inches of extra fabric width in addition to our quilt width on each side. So 4 inches on the right and the left. And also at the top, it's helpful to have that additional backing fabric. So that's something we want to think about. It will make our Longarmer's efforts much easier. If there's not enough additional fabric here on the side, then when the Longarm machine gets close over here as it's doing the quilting, it could get hung up on the clip. The clip could actually collide with the edge of that flat plate where the needle is at of the Longarm machine. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want to have things running into something. So this extra 4 inches of fabric on each side makes the Longarming process much smoother. Many times, those of us who make quilts might decide to do our own quilting, right? And what we'll often do is use pins, or we might use some type of temporary adhesive for fabric, or even something like spray-based to basically tack the layers together. So we might spray our batting and our backing. It tacks that together, and then we might also spray a layer of that spray-based or adhesive between the batting and the quilt top. And this is great because now you can lay this up on your sewing machine and you can do your quilting freehand, and these layers stay together. But for longarming, we do not want to do this. If you use that spray-based or fabric adhesive, or you pin all this together or baste this together, that's a problem for the Longarmer. Why is that? Because the Longarmer is going to load the backing on the Longarm machine separately. And there are leaders, and it gets rolled up on these leaders on both ends. Then we're going to load the quilt top, and the back end of that usually also gets attached to leader and then rolled up on the Longarm machine. And then lastly, the batting will get positioned in between those two layers, and then it's folded down under the Longarm machine, and it advances with the quilt as we move forward. So if we decide, well, I'm going to baste these together, or I'm going to use adhesive, then what's going to happen to the Longarmers are going to receive this, and they're going to have to take these layers apart, because they cannot load all 3 of these layers in the Longarm machine together. They all 3 have to go in separately. So we want to be kind to our Longarmer and not do adhesive or basting of these 3 layers. One more thing we can do to make the life of our Longarmer a little easier and have a nicer finish is to do a victory lap basting stitch all the way around the outside edge of our quilt. And why would we do this? Well, this will close up all of our seams, right? They're not going to have to worry about any of our seams opening up on the outside edge of our quilt. We could do it closer to the edge if we like, but the point is all of our seams will be closed on the edge of our quilt. Well, I hope you found these tips helpful in preparing your quilt top to send to the Longarmer, and I'm sure your Longarmer will appreciate it if you're able to put these tips into practice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you thought it was helpful content, please give me a thumbs up and leave any other helpful tips or comments you'd like on the video. In the meantime, I'm wishing you happy sewing and beautiful finishes.